Go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We can formally commence this meeting of the Ku-ring-gai Local Planning Panel. This being a public meeting, I should first, on behalf of the Council, recognise the traditional custodians of the land, the Ku-ring-gai people on whose land we meet. When commencing these meetings, it is customary for the planning panel members to introduce ourselves. We will do that now. I'm David Lloyd. I'm chairing the panel. I'm a lawyer. I'm a KC. I'm a former judge of the Land and Environment Court, judge of the Supreme Court, and for the last 6 years, a professor of law at Western Sydney University. Mr. Sarich.
Eugene Sarich. I'm a town planning consultant of about 43 years experience, half of which was gained in local government, the other half in private enterprise. I'm semi-retired and I sit on 2 or 3 other planning panels.
Mr. Singh.
Shivesh Singh. I'm a town planning consultant with local government, state government and private sector experience.
And Mr. Hardy, please.
Vince Hardy. I'm also a town planning consultant and expert panel member on several panels across Sydney, and I've had planning expertise across local government and consultant planner for about 35 years.
All right, I happen to advise that this meeting will be recorded and made publicly available on the Council's website. Council does not accept liability for any statements made by members of the public and does not accept liability for any defamatory comments. You are. Next is apologies. There are none. Next, declarations of interest, and I have received no declarations of interest from panel members. What about staff?
None from staff, Mr. Chair.
All right. With that, we can move straight on to the only item on the agenda for this afternoon's meeting, which is the proposal by PLC at Pymble to increase the enrolment capacity of the college to 2,050. We have only one registered speaker on this item, namely Vivian Dimmick. Is Vivian Dimmick online?
Yes, I am.
Could we have for the record your name and address, please?
Yeah, it's Vivian Dimmick and I'm at 77 Yarra Road, West Pymble.
Right. I should remind you that the protocol governing these meetings allows members of the public to address the panel for up to 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically PLC is a massive school with amazing grounds and I think they definitely have capacity for more students. The issue many residents have with the development is the increased traffic. I know a lot of people have written in and often sometimes the inconsiderate behaviour of a handful of the parents of students. You only have to drive around in school holiday periods versus school term to notice the difference. There are sort of ongoing issues in Pymble Avenue at Grays Walk and at the roundabout and the crossing near Pymble Station Tunnel. Pacific Highway access in both directions at Livingston and Everton, let alone Avon Avenue and Beechworth Avenue backway. The Pymble Avenue at Graysworth drop-off is gridlock most mornings, with parents in massive SUVs doing illegal 3-point turns in driveways, dropping kids off, getting bags from the car boot, brushing hair, etc. P-platers parking on the street creating chaos is worse on Tuesdays when it's bin day, and let alone when a PLC bus needs to enter or exit via Pymble Avenue. I was just hoping that perhaps the school were able to educate and empower some of the students to do the right thing around drop-off and pick-up, whether or not there was something they can introduce to do with detentions if the parent did the wrong thing around school drop-off and pick-up, or rewards as a canteen voucher if they do the right thing. The college advertised that they want to change the world with values of care and courage and integrity. Maybe they can empower the girls to be part of the solution. I just think the swipe card at Grays Walk is not necessarily going to be a good enough solution to the traffic. I don't know whether or not the council can make it no parking on one side of the street, whether the council can increase light cycles at Pacific Highway on times during those peak times, turning off Livingston Avenue, Orinoco, Everton. There's just such traffic gridlock. Sorry, I'm going really fast. Even there are solutions like a section of the Pymble Pub car park could be purchased and a walkway or a tunnel could be used, or a section of the Ku-ring-gai Town Hall car park. You could build an overpass for pedestrians, because the problem is the gridlock in the actual area, not only because of PLC, but also because of the apartment blocks. So the roundabout is absolute gridlock on most mornings. I don't know whether PLC could purchase an adjoining property in Pymble Avenue and make it an extra pick-up and drop-off point, because the school's certainly big enough to accommodate more students, but I just don't think the infrastructure in the Pymble area can manage much more traffic. Schools like Barker and St Lucy's have much better systems than PLC appear to. St Lucy's and Wahroonga, they've got staff on walkie-talkies. It's absolute military precision as kids are dropped off and picked up at school pickup, and they're dealing with so many more schools in a similar gridlock situation. That's just, I know my 3 minutes is probably up. I just think that PLC, in conjunction with the council, could do a better job with the traffic in the surrounding area at key pick-up and drop-off times, especially on rainy days, bin days, that sort of stuff. It's just absolute gridlock.
All right. Any questions by the panel? Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Just one question, please. Vivian, how does this proposal affect you?
Well, I'm a resident in the local area. I do live relatively, I don't live right near the school, but basically whenever I'm trying to exit or enter the area, like we're in Yarra Road, and during the school periods, people fly up Yarra, driving quite dangerously. And if we need to go up Pymble Avenue or around Livingston Avenue or exit the suburb at any time during the peak school hours, it takes a very, very long time to exit the area. So we just, we try to avoid that. But there are sometimes you just can't. I have appointments for my daughter at the dentist or the OT near Beechworth Avenue and that sort of stuff, and you just have to add a whole lot of extra time, and sometimes you're completely gridlocked. If a bus is trying to come down Pymble Avenue and into Golfers Parade, you can't move.
Thank you.
Any other questions, panel? No? Well, thank you for that. We have a number of representatives of the school here.
Yeah.
Does Mr. Maynard want to respond to that? Is Mr. Maynard there?
Yes, I am. Brett Maynard, traffic consultant from Stantec.
You've just heard what Ms. Dibbick has said. What is your response?
We've obviously done a very thorough transport impact assessment that's looked at both the existing conditions and the increase that we're talking about as a result of the additional students. The increase in students is likely to result in up to an additional 30 vehicles. So it's really insignificant in terms of the existing operations. What will have a greater benefit for the school moving forward is the proposed condition requiring a green travel plan to be developed, and that's in conjunction with the existing state significant development approval for the Early Learning Centre, which has a similar condition proposed for when that consent is activated. So the school has the college has put a lot of effort in recent years into improving pick up and drop off activities. that occur on campus. One of the things that's probably less visible to the public is the level of precision that is applied by the college internally in terms of managing how those operations occur, as well as the additional students that are progressively being put on buses. And there has been an increase in the number of bus routes that the school has provided in terms of private bus collection of students to try and also mitigate the impacts. I think everyone would acknowledge that pick up and drop off time in the vicinity of schools in general is challenging. What we see during school holidays is only a 5 to 10% reduction in traffic volumes, but it does have a significant benefit on the network. In the vicinity of the college, we're not just dealing with the college itself. There's several public schools in the area, plus the additional traffic on the Pacific Highway, which means that there's very limited ability for Transport for New South Wales to adjust traffic signal timings to materially benefit operations there. However, they are always on the lookout for any improvements that can be made. So just in responding to the comment on council's ability, so council can't influence traffic signals and adjust the state road network, but that is something that does continue to occur. We have worked with the college, and it will be part of the travel plan to try and deal with any errant behaviour that occurs. When we've done site visits, we haven't observed some of the issues that have been reported from time to time by local residents. But we don't doubt that one person racing along the road, running late in the morning, then ruins it for others and leaves a bad taste in the local community. But it's something that the college will continue to work on.
Any questions?
That's probably sufficient, Mr. Chair.
Any questions by the panel?
Great, thank you. Could you just expand on how the Grey House Walk access will be controlled in future?
So at the moment, the Grey House Walk is staffed in the morning. So the intention that it is for local pick up and drop off activities, generally for local students walking, but there isn't any intention to try and reduce numbers any further using that location. It is managed at the moment. It does have no stopping on the school side, and there is sufficient traffic management devices in the vicinity of the school. So there are speed humps to slow vehicles down and the like. The issue that has been raised is really about drivers potentially speeding further away from the college.
Any other questions, panel?
Yes, please, Chair. Just thanks for the answers. This might be a question of either the traffic planner from the school or the school in themselves. The objector raised some issues. I note that one of the conditions of consent that we're being proposed is the operational transport and access management plan, and items A through to I seem to identify those sort of concerns from an operational perspective would be the specifically the type of issues that would be picked up by that requirement of that condition of consent. So is there a response from either the school, from an operational manner, or the traffic engineers about how some of the concerns raised and even some of the incentives suggested by the objector could be identified? And are you confident that those sort of issues can be picked up through that condition number 2?
Maybe if I address that from a transport perspective, and then Greg, perhaps you can just tackle it from a college perspective. From a traffic perspective, yes, certainly. There's a range of issues there that will be picked up by that plan. So the operational transport management plan will sufficiently address those concerns. And to a certain extent, that is ongoing by the college anyway. So those concerns are being addressed. They have been addressed, and conditions have been improved from previous years and previous assessments. And as I mentioned, things like use of buses, monitoring of pedestrian crossings in the area. It's obviously a challenge to get 100% compliance. So I'll let Greg talk to management within the school, but from a transport engineering perspective, those issues are a work in progress. They have been significantly improved, and the plan will continue to improve the college's ability to be a good neighbour.
All right, any further questions? Mr. Savage? No?
Sorry, I just thought the school might respond to that as well, because I think it's not just a traffic response. I think there's an operational management response from the school, and I'd be interested in some comments from the school just in regard to that operational management, access management plan.
And also the number of times the buses actually get gridlocked, because the buses are very big, and a lot of the time the buses get stuck on the roundabout. They can't go down Pymble Avenue. Like, what are the bus routes? I think they mostly go down Pymble Avenue and then up Golfers Parade and then up Yarara. I'm not really sure, but a lot of the time the bus actually gets gridlocked and they can't move. No one can move.
All right. Does anyone from the school want to respond to Mr. Hardy's question?
Mr. Hardy, it's Kate Hadwin, the principal here. And thank you so much for those comments that were raised earlier as well. I've noted down Barker and St. Lucy's, and we'll go out to those schools and have a look at what they're doing that we might not be doing. Certainly, there's a lot of operations going on inside the campus that, as was noted earlier, you can't see from the outside of the campus regarding managing our traffic, and lots of staff are involved in that. So, but I'm certainly happy to take on board your points regarding those two schools, and happy to have a look at what they do that we might be able to incorporate additionally. Regarding things that might be incentives for parents or students, we have found that they don't necessarily work particularly well either way. And so we're happy to talk with our members of our Green Travel Plan. We've got obviously a committee of people coming together regarding the Green Travel Plan, and to go out to our students and ask them, are there other things that would incentivise them further? Are there other things that would disincentivise them? And certainly we do have staff up on Avon Road who do speak with students about car parking and the like, and we monitor our parking spaces to make sure that people who are parking in those spaces should be parking in those spaces. So they're all part of what is currently our travel plan. With regard to the buses, I'm unsure about that, because I see the buses turn up just because my office happens to kind of look down that road. I see the buses turn up on time each day to collect the students. So I'm not saying they don't ever get stuck, but certainly they come before the major pickup time in the afternoon, and then again later in the evening. In the morning, it takes them a little longer to get in, but the students are it would be very rare for an email to go out to say the students are running late because a bus couldn't make it through the traffic. So I'm not so aware of that particular matter, but I'm really happy to take that matter on board and have a look at that further. Was there anything further that Greg or Jenny you wanted to pick up on?
Just a quick one. My name's Greg Hasty. I'm Project Director for Master Planning. One thing that we have, which Kate touched on as well, we do have a green travel plan. Over time, we are looking to reduce the number of vehicles that come onto site through incentives and initiatives throughout the green travel plan. And I think it is important that it's a condition of consent. Not only is it a condition of consent for Grey House Precinct, but it's also something that the college is actively trying to reduce the numbers that come onto site. I think one of the big differences with this college as well is that we bring vehicles in off the road. We don't have, with the exception of Pymble Avenue, we don't really have a drop-off area on the road in a public street. we actually bring the vehicles in, and we've got 3 separate areas where we actually have a drop-off and pick-up area.
All right. Any other questions, panel?
No, thank you.
No. All right. Well, that concludes the public meeting. What will happen now is the panel will retire and consider what's been put to us and publish our decision in due course. And we thank you all for your input. Thank you very much.
Thank you, panel.
Thank you, panel.